Yes, and who else? Who gave them the? Well, who did they give the technology to? The reptilians. And the Aryans, yes, absolutely both. And why would a civilization want to program their own people? To, number one, perpetuation of the civilization. No deviation from what they want the population to do. That's the overall concept of the reasoning behind it. The continuation of the population, of the civilization, without deteriorating it.
Even if they didn't do that, they
Free will would encourage deviation from the original. It's kind of like evolution of civilization. New ideas pop in, new directions, and it kind of go off the track of where it was originally. But if everybody's controlled, they keep it on the same road, same focus. No deviation. No deviation.
positive or I'm not getting.
Now, judging it is another story. Is it positive? Is it negative? What do you think? That's up to the person, isn't it? Overall, we are conditioned to believe it is not a good thing. Yet, we accept it all the time. Edith.
You're saying that most programming started from the seers?
They had technology, but I don't want to get dwelling on that kind of stuff. Just suffice to know that it existed way before any life on Earth existed, and its purpose was to maintain a civilization in a certain way. All religions, what are they? Mind control or programming? What would you say? They're both. Mostly mind control and some programming. And how does religion, if you had to pick one word that would describe how religion uses mind control and programming, what word would you use as an overall word? Fear. Who said fear? Very good. For example, if you don't do A, B, and C, you'll be excommunicated and burned in hell forever. Okay? Something like that. That's fear. And most people, especially in ancient times, had no concept of God mind or what life was really about. They had to be directed by those who were their religious leaders and government officials. And so religion was designed to control masses of people without the use of technology. Why? Because if you have several 100,000 people in your civilization, and you can't watch all of them, but you want them all to be loyal to you, you devise a religious system that tells them on this day, at this time, you do this. And you worship in this way, and God tells you to do this. Bum, 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 bum. And if you don't, you'll die, or you'll burn in hell, or some horrible thing will happen to you. And so that's how religion really had its foundation. Oh yeah, we were just waiting for you. Have a seat. One of the earliest known organizations that used mind control and programming was actually discovered or found out about in 1298 by Marco Polo in his travels through Asia. And he reached a valley in what was then a town called Alamut, Persia. And he heard of an organization and a group there called the Ashishin. Ashishin in English. That was in Persia. And you've heard the story of the old man in the mountain. Have you ever heard that story before? The old man in the mountain? His name was Allahuddin. And in Persian and in Arabic, it means God is the judge. Allahuddin. God, He is the judge. That's how it translates. And it was quite an amazing group which only used very young boys between the ages of 11 up to perhaps 17 or 18. And what this Allahuddin would do was he would drug certain children, these young boys, while they slept, and they would fall into a kind of stupor, or almost a coma, and then he would have his men take them from their beds and bring them to his mountain hideout. And when they woke up, they would be surrounded by beautiful dancing girls and wonderful food and everything they could possibly want in life. And they were told that they had died and gone to heaven, and that this was their paradise. But, Allahuddin told them, it was determined that they needed to return to the earth because they were not ready to be in paradise. So of course, these young boys were very upset that they were here in paradise with all this wonderful thing, and now they're going to be sent back to earth. And he said, the only way you can come back to this paradise is if you do what I tell you to do. And you will receive messages on the earth. And then when you finally die, you will come back here forever. And so he would give them a potion to drink again that would knock them out. They would be brought back to their beds, and they would wake up in the morning thinking that they had died and gone to heaven and sent back. Then whenever they were needed, Allahuddin would send a messenger to their home and say, the gods have told us you need to kill so-and-so, whatever person that they needed to assassinate or get rid of. And the boys would do it. Not fearing for their own lives, because they knew they'd been to paradise and they were going to go back there. And so he had created, Allahuddin, the first known organization, mind-controlled young men who were assassins. And that's where the word assassin comes from this word ashishin. That's where the word assassin comes from. And that also became an Arabic word. But it was part of this group. If we go back in time even further, may I erase this? If we go back in time even further, we have the ancient Egyptian temples. That were run by the priests of Egypt under the direction of the Pharaoh. And it was in ancient Egypt that secret ceremonies would occur in the temples that were not allowed for public view. These were left over from ancient Sumerian and Atlantean and Lemurian rites. And it was in ancient Egypt that the rite of the Mesa was performed. And you may have heard of me talk about this once before in galactic history. And Mesa was the name for crocodile fat from the Nile River, the crocodiles in the Nile River at the time. And they would take the fat of the crocodile and smear it over their bodies. And that's where in the ancient Bible it comes to the term, anoint my head with oil. It comes from the oil and the fat from the crocodile. And that would lead them, those who were anointed with this oil of crocodile fat, would become holy people or spiritual people that were do the bidding of the priests. This word, over the years, in the ancient Hebrew language, became Moshe, or Moses, which is what the Bible is really talking about there as far as the story is concerned. And that actually morphed into the word Messiah, or someone who will save you from your life.